You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
And I've been to Greenville yesterday.
It's fine.
My mom told me, "What you doing?" I said, "Oh, I'm heading to Ed's house." "What do you mean you're heading to Ed's house?" I was like, "Yeah." I'm like, "We're going to do the pod." She said, "You're on the way to Raleigh?" I said, "Oh, no, I've been in Raleigh." Like, "You know you're not supposed to be driving." I was like, "Well, I haven't had any pain meds in 3 days. I feel fine. So screw that sitting at home bullshit."
There you go.
I'm like, because if I had to sit at home and wait for a ride, I wouldn't go anywhere because Tracy leaves in the morning and doesn't come back. So
You're gonna eat loud chips on the podcast?
I'm going in the room.
Fine.
I got shit to do.
One day, technical producer Jackie will not be joining us for episode 204 of the A Foreign Affair podcast.
what a great way to start episode 204 of the A Foreign Affair podcast. And Ed, are you ready to continue your post duties?
I'm ready. I'm good to go. Welcome to the podcast. Wes Bradshaw is here live on a still a high. If I am on a broken face low, Wes Bradshaw is on a high.
Woo!
We'll talk about why in a little bit, because we always have to go chronologically. But as always, the podcast is presented by NGSC Sports at ngscsports.com. We never stop. We have plenty to talk about today. We also have a Premier League weekend to talk about.
All right, we do.
Where there was a match where in most other weeks would have been the headline of the week.
Would have been.
Would have been. First time in 28 years something happened. But, it's okay. Well, that'll be the second most important game we talk about today.
But the most important moment we're going to talk about happened on the left coast of the great old United States of America. We're definitely going to get to that one.
Don't you worry. That'll be in news and notes.
The tingling has not subsided since.
You're welcome, world.
It's uncomfortable to walk sometimes.
It's very moist. So that we're going to be talking about that, the news and notes. We'll have Watch 4. We'll have a live So Raw.
Sure.
Ronda Rousey got thrown through a table.
Yeah. It was a humdrum go home.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I wasn't thrilled, but
Right.
hey, WrestleMania's here. I'm very happy about that part.
That'll be exciting. That's for later on in the podcast. We are going to start with the Premier League, as we like to do. First with the matches we don't really care about. United beat Swansea 2-0. Lukaku and Sanchez. Is that Sanchez's first goal for United? Or second?
Not his first. Might have been his second.
Well,
It doesn't matter. They overpaid for crap. So.
Exactly. But they scored both in the first 20 minutes of the game, and they went on to a comfortable 2-0 win. Newcastle beats Huddersfield 1-0. Ayoze Perez with the winner in the 80th minute.
Big win. I mean, just they're all fighting at the bottom of the table. Big win for Newcastle.
Absolutely. And speaking of that, West Ham, who has been in a bit of turmoil, destroying Southampton 3-0. João Mario with the opener in the 13th minute, and then a brace from Marko Arnautovic finally coming good for the Hammers. But I don't know if they've doomed Southampton to relegation.
Southampton are in big trouble because not only that, they're just showing they can't score.
Yeah.
I mean, they
not good.
Cannot score. They're just bad.
And I mean, real quick, if we look at the match report real quick on here, just to look, because I do feel like they have at least some amount of talent. On this roster. Where is it?
I mean, they've got Charlie Austin. They've got Ryan Bertrand. Ryan Bertrand's an England international.
Mm-hmm. They have Dusan Tadic still. They have Nathan Redmond.
These guys are going to be
Gabbiadini.
Great playing for Liverpool next year.
Yeah, Shane Long especially.
It's almost happened. Don't say it.
It was almost Fraser Forster, but who knows? Maybe it's not anymore.
I mean, they've got some guys, but it's a bad mix this year, and they don't have the right people to get the ball into someone like a Charlie Austin or a Shane Long, who, granted, those are not top of the Premier League.
But they've been good enough in the past. where
Well,
they
they
shouldn't be
have-
struggling this bad.
Well, but that said, when you just start looking at the guys they've lost, I mean,
That's
if they
true.
had kept their team together, and maybe kept their manager. I mean, that's a team. That is a group that's good enough to challenge at the top of the Premier League.
Yeah, they shouldn't be in almost about to be relegated, basically.
No, absolutely not.
Which is just bizarre. Watford and Bournemouth, they're both pretty safe, and they played another entertaining game between these two teams at Vicarage Road. 2-2 is the draw. Jermaine Defoe with the equalizer at the death, 92nd minute, to get Bournemouth back level. Big draw for them, and Bournemouth, they were in trouble for a while, but it looks like they've stabilized enough where they're going to be fine going forward. West Brom, that grave is just currently being lowered into the ground. We'll have more news.
They gone.
Yeah, more news on them later. But Burnley beats them 2-1 at the Hawthorns. Ashley Barnes and Chris Wood with goals there to win it for Burnley. Leicester left it late, but they get the win at Brighton and Hove Albion. Vicente Iborra with the goal in the 83rd minute, and then Jamie Vardy sealed it away in the 96th.
Had a party.
He had a party.
Good time.
Chat, shake, get, bang. Man City, it was never close against Everton. 3-1 the victory. Sane with a goal in the 4th. Jesus, back from being injured. He had a goal in the 12th minute. Raza with a goal in the 37th. We'll be talking about him later, I think, a little bit. Yannick Balaze had a goal for Everton. That's great and all. They won 3-1, so...
For City, beating one of the minnows of the league.
Yeah.
Not a bad treat.
The
Not bad.
100+ million pound spender minnows that they are. And, Wes, it's happening.
It's happening, dude.
Arsenal with the victory.
I tell you, it's going to happen, dude. Arsenal are winning out. I think it's going to give Stan Kroenke so much to look forward to that, hey, I know he's got another year left on his deal. Give him 2 more.
Hell yeah.
Give R.C. Wenger a couple more. Especially now that it's looking like Thomas Tuchel
Yeah.
no longer on the books.
Yeah, maybe going to PSG.
Sounds very much
Weird.
like he's going to PSG.
But Aubameyang, Arsene has finally tapped into his potential. He hits the brace here. Lacazette, he's back. Oh, this team is ready to roll now.
And apparently we found the formula. All you have to do is have no expectation left and play crap teams.
Arsenal, the flat track, the ultimate flat track bullies.
ultimate
This is as flat track as it gets now.
Oh, this is so flat. Yeah, Stoke is definitely on a flat track. Stoke is on a track. They are in big time trouble as well right now.
Yeah. So now we have just 2 matches left to talk about, and Wes, since you're here
Because they're the only
live,
ones that matter.
yeah. Let's go first to Selhurst Park. Crystal Palace won, Liverpool 2. They left it late, but maybe, even according to Kevin De Bruyne, the player of the year in the Premier League, Mo Salah, with his league-leading 29th goal, saves them again. Liverpool wins it in the 84th minute. Milajovic, I can't even...
Yeah, you said it right first time.
Yeah, he gets the penalty in the 13th minute. Sadio Mane with the goal in the 49th. Mane, of course, with a little bit of controversy, to say the least. Gets a yellow card for diving. And then gets what maybe should have been
get a card for that.
probably should have gotten his second yellow card for just punching the ball out of goal, and maybe shouldn't have been on anymore. So Liverpool get out with what really I don't want to say should have, could have been a banana peel game ahead of City, and with everything going on coming out of the international break. This was a big game for Palace, a Palace team that's looked a lot better, and to go a goal down. This is one where you could have seen maybe at the end of the first half, well, this is just not Liverpool's day.
And also, it was for us, 7:30 a.m. match, which made it a 12:30 match, and Jurgen Klopp has been very vocal about his displeasure of the noon matches, as he says, you're supposed to be eating breakfast at that time. Why y'all tell? God, I went a little finger there. Sorry.
Yeah. Frenchiest German I've ever heard.
Yeah. World War II, sir. But Klopp hates playing those matches anyway. And he just feels it's a little too early for the body to be really raring and going. And really, it's weird when you look at it. No one else plays these damn 12:30 matches.
It does seem like almost every time we come out of an international break, hey, Let's start off with Liverpool.
Well, and I'm saying just a league in general.
Sure.
I mean, you don't see Germany playing noon matches.
Yeah.
You don't see Spain and
Yeah.
Italy playing noon matches.
Very weird.
It's an England thing. And,
A lot of
yeah, England do.
night
Well,
matches.
it's
afternoon for us, night matches for them. I
it's
guess.
maximizing television time
Right.
is all it is. So for Liverpool, and by the way, we get to play Everton at noon this week.
Of course you do.
He's not happy about that either. But yeah, for Liverpool, it was. I'm gonna tell you, man, it was one of those matches. At the end of the day, I was as impressed as if we had beat them 5-0. For the simple fact that I know we've said it, and it's getting a little old, and I'm not gonna say it's really the thing anymore. These are matches in the past that Liverpool are lucky to draw.
You're exactly right. I think that's very true.
There was a stat, I can't remember if it was under it was from Rodgers into Klopp's first year. It was a long time anywhere where if Liverpool were not winning at halftime, they had this long streak going of they didn't win matches. They had to be up by halftime or they didn't win. They might, they'd pull a draw, but they didn't win matches. And this is not the first time now this has happened this year. This has kind of become, it's happened some. Yes, everyone wants to see the Liverpool where they're 4-0 up 40 minutes into the match and then, score one or two late, just assault it away. But with the point of Liverpool's season that they're hitting, which is the run-in for the top four, which, as we'll get to, that may have kind of cleared up for everybody at this point. But also Liverpool with wanting to win the Champions League, wanting to continue that deep run that we'll also talk about later. You can't win them all pretty.
No.
And for Liverpool to go out there and Mane to get the early goal, that was a big boost. Because I think Liverpool felt they were playing well. I felt we were playing pretty well. It was not pretty. It was not one of those beautiful free-flowing days. And a lot of that was Uncle Woy's tactics. Unky Woy and Josie are actually good friends, and I think they compare tactics a lot. But they were happy, especially once they got their lead. They were very happy to sit back and defend.
Oh yeah.
Try to rough up the match. But Mane getting the equalizer, just a terrible season for Mane he's having. I think he's up to maybe 16 goals and 10 assists now.
Horrible.
Yeah, I mean, literally has better numbers than last year when we thought he was God. But he's just terrible this year. Now he does shit. And then Salah popping up and just what Salah does, scoring goals. And he got the late one off a cross by Andy Robertson. And it was one of those gutty. We always joke about the Tuesday night at Stoke. Well, this was a noon on a nasty, ugly day in London, and Liverpool had to overcome. They had to overcome a negative tactical team, and they were able to get it done. And it wasn't playing, quote, their beautiful brand of football they like to play. And that just shows, under Jurgen Klopp, over the last few years, the mindset of this team. And it took him a while to mold it. Because, one thing Klopp didn't go out and just totally overhaul his team like, Josie and Pep did. He doesn't have the unlimited funds. But... Klopp took a lot of shit early on for, work with the guys I've got. Crazy idea, right? Yeah, so let me work with guys I've got. But I think it took him a while to mold that mindset, to mold that team set that they have. But now Liverpool aren't afraid. I don't think they're not afraid to get dirty and play rough with you anymore and have to pull it out late. And they were able to do it on the day. Huge win. It may have effectively, as we'll talk about a little more, closed up the top four. But also it gave them momentum going into, what really is a massive 2 weeks with the Champions League and the Merseyside Derby coming up. The injury bug has totally decided now's the time to hit Liverpool. Good news on Salah, though. So yes, positive. Thank God. I think I texted Ed earlier about to cry. Up 3-0. Up 3-0. I'm about to openly weep at the pub earlier. But when you look at the injuries suddenly Liverpool are having,
Joel Matip,
Chan missing out on the day. They do have some issues right now, and being able to still go out, get a victory, get a hard-fought victory. It's just huge. It's huge for the psyche. It's huge on the numbers.
Yeah, absolutely. And this was this was a big win for them. Real quick, just to touch on Palace for a second, a huge loss for them. Because I can quickly take a look at the table here before we get to it in full. Currently, they're sitting in 17th place. Yeah. And you think about, I believe, their last 2 games. Now, a come-from-ahead loss against Liverpool and a come-from-ahead loss against United, both at home. The United one was a multiple goal. I believe they were up 2-0, finished losing 3-2. And I mean, for a team that is trying to maintain their position in the Premier League, and it looks like, I mean, if everybody below them keeps losing, they'll be fine. But they could be right now in a much better position to stay up. And
looking at their final 6, luckily for them, they're done with the big boys.
Okay.
The top 5 in Arsenal, they're done with them. Their toughest matches left, they do play Bournemouth and Watford.
Those will be tough.
And those are
winnable,
teams
but tough.
that are above them, but still winnable. They play Brighton Hove Albion. They play Leicester. Their last 2 matches of the year, Stoke, West Brom.
Wow.
So they play the bottom 2 teams last 2 of the year. And for them, they've got to go in there saying, Unky Woy, can we try to win these matches? The thing is, the thing I will say about Palace have good players.
Yeah.
That's the thing. They're just a shit team, but I will tell you, I think they may have the best player in the league who doesn't play on a top 6 team, and that's Zaha.
Yeah.
And you saw the other day, even against Liverpool, Zaha came in and made a big difference. He gave Trent Alexander-Arnold, he gave Trent all kinds of problems, especially in the first half of that match. Was maybe a little unlucky not to have a second goal for him. But Zaha is back healthy. That's big for him. They've gone a stretch without him. I believe Palace is going to have enough to stay up. No, they might finish 17th. But I think Palace are going to have enough to stay up as long as Zaha can stay healthy over these last 6 matches.
Yeah, and that's going to be big too, going forward, because that is a decent looking team. But
yeah, they really are.
It'll be interesting to see.
Shit.
And again, if everybody below them keeps losing, it doesn't really matter. Speaking of teams losing below them, this is to a team that did lose below Liverpool, and the one you were talking about that might have solidified that top 4, or at least get really, really close to it. And that is Chelsea 1, Tottenham 3. For the first time in 28 years, Tottenham Hotspur goes to Stamford Bridge and wins. 2 years ago, we all remember the Battle of the Bridge when Tottenham were chasing Leicester. They went up 2-0, and then in the second half, Chelsea came back to get the draw. There was about 8 yellow cards in the match.
And as we've come to find out, our good friend, the official, just decided to, quote, let Tottenham self-destruct.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks, Clatts.
Yeah, Mark Clattenburg, always great. It started out a little rough for Tottenham on the day. Alvaro Morata, hey, worth every penny. He got a header in the 30th minute to beat Hugo Lloris. But right before halftime, Christian Eriksen with an absolute worldie, and a lot of people want to blame Willie Caballero. It wasn't a great goalkeeping effort, but having seen the replay a bunch, there's the behind looking straight into the goal shot. The cameraman starts panning up as the shot's going in because he's expecting it to go in like row G. And then it just dies and hits into the top of the net. And you just look and you're like, what can you do?
I truly think maybe the only keeper in the league that could have got a hand on that might have been a full stretch De Gea.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, it was a magnificent shot, and you can't give Caballero so much shit for that.
Yeah, that was just really tough. It looks bad live because he doesn't really do a whole lot.
Right.
But then you look and you're like, oh, God.
And a lot of shots are like that. When you're looking on TV, you're like, just move, motherfucker. What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
And then you watch back on the replay, and you're like, oh. Okay, I get it now.
That's unfortunate.
My fat ass never played soccer. Now I get it.
So they go into the break 1-1, and then Dele Alli, obviously, who ate England international coach Gareth Southgate's comments for a nice carbohydrate breakfast, took those to heart and then ripped the hearts out of Chelsea fans. and then stepped on it and put his hand to his ear, as in a 4-minute stretch in the 62nd and 66th minutes, put in 2 goals. One was a very pretty through ball from about 50 yards out from Eric Dyer. The second one was a very messy goal from, not as in Leno, but as in MESSY. Son in the box had his shot blocked twice, but Ali cleaned up the rebound and put it in. And then it was 3-1, and Chelsea, while they were in the match, never truly threatened Tottenham for the last 20 minutes. And as you said, Wes, this might have been it, because as we take a quick peek at the standings in the table here, Tottenham now are 8 points clear of Chelsea. Liverpool are 10 points clear of Chelsea, but without game in hand.
Right. But say Chelsea wins, you're still looking at 7. You're looking at 7 clear with 6 matches left.
Yeah.
And Liverpool do not have the world's toughest run in.
No, and that's where it just comes down to. We only have 7 matches left. Arsenal now 13 points behind Tottenham in the race for 4th. They're almost completely out, not yet mathematically out, but they have to make up over 2 points a game from here on out.
Well, and real quick, let's just say even on matches, and let's say Chelsea beat Liverpool in the penultimate game of the season. Well, you're still looking at Liverpool having to drop 4 points between Everton, Bournemouth, West Brom, Stoke, and Brighton Hove.
And they shouldn't.
They shouldn't.
They really shouldn't.
Liverpool and Tottenham in very strong positions. I've also heard some thoughts, and I'm not going to say I don't fully agree with it. Conte is so sick and tired of being at Chelsea right now. There are people saying that he almost relishes the fact that he's leaving them out of the Champions League. He's such He's such a dick.
Oh, it's great. This implosion is just really good. And now we do have to. I do want to give Tottenham a little bit of credit, though. Obviously, for going down. So now in 2 straight games, even though the last game was almost a month ago, they went down to Bournemouth early on the road, came back to pick up their first Premier League come from behind victory. They do it again at a place they haven't won in 28 years. Last year they killed the meme of always finishing behind Arsenal. This year they've killed the meme of not being able to win against Chelsea. The last one is basically go win a trophy. And they have a chance. 2 matches they got to beat United and either Chelsea or Brighton and Hove in the FA Cup. We'll see how that works. But, I mean, Tottenham, and I remember a lot of people were saying, about 12 matches in, well, what's wrong with Tottenham this year? They're terrible. And this was in a stretch where I believe they lost 4 out of 9.
They did.
They lost to Arsenal, United, City, and I want to say Leicester.
And one of those really looks bad later in the season.
Yeah.
Arsenal.
Curses. But then I went through. At this point in the year last year, they're only 4 points off their pace from last year, which was like the most points they'd ever had in the Premier League. This is still a really good team. They just look a lot worse because they don't have a team to chase for the number 1 spot.
Yeah, I think a lot of teams look bad on paper this year when you look at it just because of how good City have been.
Absolutely.
Because, Liverpool are having a really good season. United, as much as you hate to admit it, United's having a really good season. Yeah. Tottenham's having a really good season. In other years, if there was a title race, this could be a hell of a title race. Yeah. If City wasn't just so good.
Yeah, if City was right now at like 71, 72, this would be fantastic. But
if City would just have to play Liverpool a little more often. We're trying to help everyone. Jesus Christ.
We can only do so much.
Yeah, we only get them so many times on the schedule.
Oh, man. But again, just a great victory for Tottenham, and hopefully they continue this forward. Obviously, Harry Kane coming back for the final 20 minutes. There was reports after he first got injured that, oh, God, he's going to miss the World Cup for England. And it's, oh, no, he basically missed, like...
You might want to still think about doing that, but...
It's not a bad idea. So he comes back, though. I do find it telling that, obviously, they started with Son instead of Llorente up top.
Oh, yeah.
But Son looked very good. Just this squad is very, very good right now. And again, shows they can sort of deal without Harry Kane. Maybe not for long stretches.
Right. Well, nobody wants to lose their main guy for long stretches.
Of course not. But they went into a place they hadn't won in 28 years without their best player starting and won.
Also, some big news on Spurs coming out. Apparently, they made a lot of money this year at Wembley, and Daniel Levy has looked at it, and it looks like they're deciding to invest that money where they need to into their playing staff, into their coach. Apparently, they've opened new contracts also with Pochettino, Eriksson, Son, and Ali.
Yeah, which is great keeping that core together. I believe the only guy they might lose this year, and tellingly he was not in the 18 at Chelsea, is Toby Alderweireld.
Right, and that looks like one, because I think where he wants to go money-wise, because, shockingly, he's only on 50,000 pounds a week. Yeah. And, I mean, for a player of his quality...
Where did he come from? I keep forgetting.
Atletico?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think he had issues at Atletico, nothing like disciplinary, but I think some injury issues, which do kind of crop up with him from time to time. But they kind of got him on the cheap, and he's turned into one of the best all around central defenders in the Premier League.
But I do think you bring up a good point. I believe he's 29. And he has been dealing with injuries. 28, 29. Maybe Vertonghen's 29 and he's 28. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
I'll double check.
But with the way Davinson Sanchez has been playing, who's young, he's been very good this year. He's had some rookie Premier League moments.
Right. Just turned 29, so he's one of those guys. He'll go somewhere and get more money. It's just you have to be aware as the team that signs him that don't expect him to play 38 matches.
Yeah. And that's going to be tough. Yeah. So I feel like, because we went into the season thinking, the Vertonghen Alderweireld partnership is one of the best center back pairings in the Premier League.
Yeah.
And it looks like Spurs might be, as they've done a couple times with Kyle Walker, with possibly Danny Rose, we have guys that can replace you. And that's how it looks like they might be going here.
And the whole thing they're just trying to be careful of is not to become Southampton.
Yeah.
Big Southampton. Which is, selling off your stars every year. But Spurs, unlike Southampton, Spurs are also able to, and the farther they go and the better they're getting, especially if they can hold on to Pochettino, they're starting to be able to attract better players to come in as well. Now they're not up there in the running for the £100 million superstars,
and they don't need to be, really.
No, they don't need to be. That's not their model. But they're able to go, and as we saw with Davinson Sanchez, they're no longer scared. Hey, we got $45 million. This is a good player who can improve us and will improve over time as well. We're going to go get this player.
Yeah, I think you can only find so many Dele Allis and get him for $5 million.
Right. Yeah.
So
or have somebody come through the academy and not cost you anything, like Harry Kane and maybe Harry Winks. You can only that's exactly what you want. I mean, that's why everyone talks about the academy and minor leagues and all that stuff. Yeah. That's what you want, is a guy who doesn't cost you anything. Just your initial outlay for him and your salary. That's what you want. But as we've also seen, to be a big-time player in football, that can't sustain you. You still have to go out. But as we've seen with Tottenham, as we've seen with Liverpool, especially those two kind of a close philosophy with each other, is, okay, we're not afraid to spend some big money, but we're not just going and getting a guy because he had a good season and because someone says you need him. You look at Liverpool holding out for Van Dijk. They were willing to pay the money for Van Dijk, but not anyone else.
Right.
And, Klopp got murdered for 3 months for that, and now
everything's fine.
Yes, now it's the greatest move of all time. Well, of course you wait for Van Dijk. But Spurs and Liverpool have shown that, if we go out and identify this is a guy who will come in and help us, we got no money going and we got no problem going and splashing some cash and paying for him. Doesn't have to be Alexis Sanchez, who's just, he's Alexis Sanchez. He's such a sexy signing. Josie, you need to spend money? Let's sign. He's a sexy signing.
And I agree. And investing in youth, even if you have to pay a little bit more for it up front with a guy like Sanchez, as you're mentioning. And now you even saw they spent a little bit of money in the winter transfer, bringing in Lucas Moura. So
who has big time potential.
Yes.
And we saw some of it at PSG, but then
PSG's a dumpster fire.
Well, Unai Emery just is a dumpster fire.
Also true.
But yeah, I thought that was a really good signing because that's a really high. He's a high ceiling guy, and nowadays $35 million.
It's not bad.
It's not $35 million 2 years ago where $35 million, I want a superstar.
Yeah.
$35 million is now, man, if he develops, he can be fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, that's Mo Salah money now. Yeah. So,
Well, not after the season.
not anymore, motherfuckers. You want him now? Back up the truck. You thought Coutinho was expensive.
Well, and speaking of a team that did spend a lot of money, Chelsea spent a lot of money.
Yeah. But they kind of... Where to even start with Chelsea? And here's kind of the issue with Conte, that Conte has, is Conte wanted to spend money. That wasn't a problem. But the thing is, Conte wanted to choose the players. Which, I know, crazy idea. Let the guy who you put in charge of the club, let him have players that he likes and, fit what he wants to do. Chelsea refused to do that. And that's where a lot of the issue with Conte has come from. The guy goes out, he wins the Premier League, and then he's like, okay, this is what I need. This is what I'd like to have. No.
Here's Alvaro Morata. Here's
Morata. I didn't want Morata. Well, we spent a lot of money on him, so you got to play him. Fuck you. And the guy from, Bokiyaku was another one that he didn't particularly want.
Rudiger? I don't think he
Rudiger, I don't think he wanted many of the guys that he got. And that's kind of it. And unfortunately, they kind of picked the wrong guy to fuck with Conte because he's like, well, fuck you. I'm going to blow this shit up. You want to not give me who I want? You going to let me go anyway? I'm going to fuck this shit up. We're here to fuck shit up. And that's kind of the issue with Chelsea. Chelsea will spend money. It's just Chelsea don't want to let the manager choose any players he wants. You think Klopp and Pochettino get to choose guys that they want?
Absolutely.
Now, yes, there are guys brought to them that they're like, hey, look, we think this guy would fit. We think he's a good fit. Young guys especially. We think he's a guy that even going forward could be even better. There is talk. There have been some grumblings that Klopp wasn't 100% sold on Mo Salah. And that was kind of, come on, look at him. Come on, kind of look at him. And he kept looking at him, decided, I do like this guy. We can do something with him. He'll be a good backup winger for us. And now he's going to set the Premier League goal record. But, Klopp and Guardiola and Pochettino, those are guys who... And Mourinho, for that fact, Mourinho, as much as he wants to bitch about it, Mourinho, those guys they get the final say, and they get a choice of, hey, this is the guy I want. Or, he comes out, and Klopp hands him, hey, here's 3 wingers. Get me one of these wingers. Just looking into the summer, it might be he has Pulisic, Lamar, and say another winger on there. And he has, look, get me one of these guys. I'll be cool. Just get me one of these guys. And then Liverpool's going to go out and hopefully get him one of those guys. Conte basically handled this. Here's who I want. Shh. That's cool. We'll get you some guys. Don't worry about it. Hey, don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it.
So what the fuck? And that's where Conte's going. And unfortunately, like I said, they got a Conte who has no problem going in front of the media and burying his employer because he knows he's gone anyway. He's not worried about it. So I'm kind of enjoying the Conte show as it goes down here.
It's great. And that's the one reason I don't think Chelsea's going to be able to rebound and maybe get to 4th.
I think he's lost that lot. I think he's thrown in the towel. I think for the most part, those players have thrown in the towel. Courtois and Hazard, they're just gazing off in the distance toward Madrid. They want out. They've made it known that they want out. I think this whole thing with Batshuayi suddenly turning good in Dortmund, I think that doesn't help much. Weird. Yeah, and the whole Morata, yes, he scored in this match, but the whole...
He didn't start in the Champions League against Barcelona when you went into the Cauldron 1-1.
Yeah, he played.
That says it all.
Yeah, he played a false 9, basically. And you had to score goals because you had to have an away goal.
Yeah, it's just bizarre, and I do, and we'll move on after this point. But I'm a little confused how Chelsea keeps doing this because I feel like in a lot of ways Conte is basically Mourinho, and it just keeps happening. It keeps happening at Chelsea. They win the Premier League, and then this guy is terrible, and then they have to fire him, and they don't. They keep hiring these very volatile managers.
Odds on the odds right now are saying a return to Stamford Bridge for Carlo Ancelotti. Which, I mean, Ancelotti was fine there the first time, and then they fired him.
Yeah.
I mean, basically, here's the thing: no one leaves Chelsea of their own accord.
Yeah.
You go to Chelsea just waiting to get fired.
It's a bizarre situation.
And
Thanks, Roman.
PSG kind of want to be like the Chelsea of France. The Chelsea of the continent.
Dumpster fire. Well, you mentioned it earlier. As we move now to our look ahead to this weekend's matches, the big one, or one of two big ones, coming up on this Derby Day Saturday, 7:30 a.m. Everton, Liverpool at Goodison.
Woo!
This is a big one.
And that is a Liverpool side that hey, Danny Ings,
Yeah.
ready to play?
Please don't get hurt.
Well, basically, spoiler for what we're going to talk about Champions League. Mo Salah left today, the 52nd minute, with an apparent groin injury. Good news, he was on the bench by the end of the match. And Kloppo has said Salah is a doubt to face Everton, but does look like he should be back for the second leg of City, which right now is... That's the thing. It's a Merseyside derby with Everton. But everybody's just got to look at this and say, no, the second leg of the Champions League is more important than the fucking Merseyside derby. For once, it is more important than the Everton match. Liverpool are having just got all kinds of injury issues. Right now, we have two healthy senior center backs. So, scarily, one of them's Lovren, who played well today. So, I think just out of that back, I think there's a good chance they'll make changes. I think maybe Robertson and Trent will get the day off because Nathaniel Klein is back. I haven't seen him at all this season. He's played some for the under-23s, come back from his injury. And Moreno actually came in today and played some. So I think you're going to see those two at the backs. Middle of the park, once again, we're suffering for numbers. Henderson got a yellow card today. He is suspended for the second leg. Hoping to have Emre Can back by the second leg, which would take care of Henderson. So your midfield might be a lot the same, but up front, no way. I think if Salah walked out on the field, I think a Liverpool fan would run out and just throw a bag over him. No! Back here. You'll still probably see a combo of Firmino and
Sane.
Or
Mane. Sorry. Yeah.
Mane.
Same thing.
Yeah, same guy. No, wait, one scored today.
Boom! Hey, there you go.
But I do think you'll see Ings and Solanke came on today and played the last 20 minutes, and I think you'll see kind of an early hook, maybe for one, if not both of them.
Yeah.
So
it'll be fun.
And no Mignolet.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mignolet, you're still not back.
So that's going to kick it off at 7:30. At 10 a.m., you get the choice of Leicester, Newcastle, Watford, Burnley, West Brom, Swansea. That's a big bottom-of-the-table match for Swansea because West Brom's already gone. Stoke hosting Tottenham, where Tottenham has had big success the last couple of years, I believe. 4-0.
Congratulations. Nice match.
Brighton Hove versus Huddersfield, and Bournemouth versus Palace. At 12:30, then you get the Manchester Derby, City versus United. City can clinch the title with a win, and now, as we'll get to later, the question becomes: do you go for it against United to hoist the trophy at home against your rivals, or do you put everything into trying to come back in the Champions League?
And the thing on that is where it seems like to a neutral, it's like this is the easiest question on earth to answer. But then when you're in the city of Manchester and you've got a roster like Guardiola has, which are guys who, give it to them. Those guys play balls to the wall, man. They are very competitive, and they want to go out and do it. They want to thumb Mourinho's nose when they do it. So he is. So it is, we've got some tough calls to make this weekend because we're obviously in a rivalry match as well. But that's going to be very interesting to see what Guardiola decides to do this weekend. That's tough. Because like you said, the obvious answer is even if you lose, you're going to win the league. Right. Yeah, play for the Champions League. Yeah, you just win it next week. Yeah. So, I think they have Tottenham next week, actually. And they have to go to Wembley. Well,
They'll win it 1 week.
fine, they'll win it.
Yeah, 1 week they're going to win it.
Either way, ain't nobody catching them.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
Doesn't matter.
So that's Saturday. On Sunday, you have 9:15 Arsenal versus Southampton. Come on, you Saints! I'm kidding. Of course, Arsenal's going to win. And then at 11:30, Chelsea takes on West Ham.
Next year's Europa team playing on Sunday.
Hell yeah! Get used to it, boys. So that is your weekend schedule. As we look at the table in full now, City, as we said, 16 points clear. 16 points clear of United. They can wrap up the title with a win on Saturday. United currently also 2 points ahead of Liverpool, 4 points ahead of Tottenham, who are in fourth. Chelsea,
Both of us have a match in hand on Liverpool. So.
yes, and then Chelsea, as we said, 8 points back of Tottenham. Arsenal even farther back, 13 out of fourth. Burnley just 5 points back, and again, that seventh spot could very well be a Europe spot. Burnley is currently in seventh. Leicester are 3 points behind them, and Everton are 6 points behind them. I don't see
Of course, right now, Chelsea in the Europa spot at fifth. But if Chelsea win the FA Cup, that could bring in another team from below as well.
Absolutely.
Also, if Arsenal can somehow win Europa, that could open the door for some of the lower teams.
So it is
Just not Everton.
No, of course not. So as we look at the bottom of your heart, the relegation zone, Swansea, Huddersfield, 3 points clear of safety. Palace, 2 points clear of safety, as we mentioned earlier, in that 17th position. Southampton, 2 points back of Palace in 18th. Stoke, 3 points back of Palace in 19th. And West Brom, they're dead. They're 10 points back. They're not making it up. Sorry,
Something
guys.
not to look up tonight because we're in the middle of this, but something maybe we could look up. When was the last time that all three promoted teams stayed up?
I don't know.
Because you always kind of assume at least one of them is going down.
Yeah.
And this has been crazy. Everybody's staying up, and they're all, Brighton's there, close, but everybody's kind of comfortable at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, as comfortable as you can be in this,
Right.
in this one.
It's a very topsy-turvy league.
I might look that up.
Top-heavy league. All right, so now we go to the Champions League. The champions. Mostly boring. Well, not completely. Some of it. Barcelona takes care of Roma 4-1. They needed 2 own goals to do it, but they got there in the end. Piqué made it 3-0 with his goal in the 59th. Edin Dzeko gave Roma a lifeline with a goal in the 80th minute to make it 3-1. Luis Suarez chomped down on that, though, and got Barcelona back to a 3-goal lead. So Roma West does get the away goal as they head back to the Stadio Olimpico, where they'll play next Tuesday against Barcelona. But I feel like this is too big of a hill to climb against Barca.
You'll see more. 3 of these are done and dusted.
Yeah.
I mean, we saw Roma today. Roma they had no real impetus going forward. The whole goal when you go to Barcelona, you're a big underdog like Roma. You're trying to scrap that away goal and defend your ass off. Get out of there 1-1, at worst 2-1.
Yeah.
Give yourself a chance at the away goal. 4-1 though. 4-1's brutal. The De Rossi own goal, that broke my heart. De Rossi, long time servant of Roma, one of the greats of Roma history. But Barcelona just too much. And Barcelona weren't great today by any means. I mean, they were nowhere near what they can be. Barcelona just kind of going through the motions, and they're fine. They're through.
Yeah, they should be good to go. Also, probably good to go, even though it's a closer scoreline. Sevilla 1, Bayern 2. Sevilla does get an early goal, but then an own goal just about 6 minutes later.
Navas finally scored!
Yay! Jesus Navas, he did it, everybody! Only first against this team. So that brought Bayern right back into it. And then Thiago Silva with a goal for Bayern. Sorry, not Thiago Silva. Just
Thiago Alcantara.
Yeah, Alcantara. With the goal in the 68th minute for Bayern. Got them up, so now they have 2 away goals heading back to the Allianz. Sevilla put up a fight, but I don't see there's any way. Even though, again, it's only a 1-goal difference.
Right. But 2 away goals actually make it kind of a 3-goal difference. So.
Yeah, so Sevilla would have to win like 2-0 just to get it.
And Bayern are one of those teams. When Bayern go home to the Allianz, they turn it up. They're a much better team at home. And that place is going to be rocking and rolling. Sevilla gave it a great run. United fans are really disappointed because they wanted to show everyone how great a team it was that knocked them out of the Champions League. But,
Whoops.
whatever. Bayern, I believe the SPI. The SPI still had Bayern going through something like 90-some%.
Sure, makes sense.
So, I'm really interested to check out the ESPN FC broadcast when I get home a little later this evening, because they had Bayern. God, Bayern was still like 96% to go through. The one we'll talk about next, Madrid and Juventus, was like 98% Madrid. I'm sure Barcelona's at 99%.
Yeah.
And then they'll probably still make City a 51% favorite over us.
So close.
Yeah.
We'll get to that match in a second. But first, the other one you talked about, Juventus 0, Real Madrid 3. Ronaldo with goals in the 3rd and 64th minute. 64th minute doing his best Mandzukic impersonation from last year's final. That was a worldie. And then Marcelo almost effectively killed off the tie in the 72nd minute. Paulo Dybala also went off with a double yellow red. It was Dybala, right?
Out.
Yeah.
Yeah, double yellow red.
So he will be out and miss the match at the Bernabeu. But yeah, this and I guess at the end of the day, Wes, we gave him a lot of shit a couple weeks ago, but really Chiellini was right. History really does make a difference in these sorts of ties.
It does, and Madrid kind of just have that. As we called him Rocky Mount back in the day, they got that ung.
Yeah.
He's got that ung over Juventus.
I'm sure that's what they call it in Real.
Yeah, that ung. You had to say it real inner city Rocky Mount when you said it too.
Yeah.
But they just kind of have a mojo over Juventus right now. They beat them last year in the final. They're just, and when you look at them, Madrid are just a better team. Juventus are made to get a lead and hold it. And when Ronaldo struck in the 2nd minute, it was, oh, shit.
Well,
and then it was a very uncharacteristic mistake between Chiellini and Buffon that led to the worldie goal from Ronaldo. Even though, in Buffon's credit, Buffon made a fantastic save on the initial shot. But then when the cross came back in, there's nobody in the world stopping that. It was just that good of a shot. Juventus, some teams just have bogey teams too. There's just some teams you can't beat. And a lot of times it's weird. A lot of times the best teams, shitty teams, are like their bogey team.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you right now, Liverpool's bogey team is fucking West Brom. We can't beat West Brom for some damn reason. Everybody else is just not the worst team in the league. But obviously for Juventus, Real Madrid's just great. And I'm gonna tell you, the way Madrid played yesterday. To me, I don't give a shit what they've done in La Liga compared to this. I think right now they're the favorite to win this tournament. As good as they played, and didn't even have to go to Bale yesterday.
Yeah.
That was the other thing. Bale didn't even play, and he was on the bench ready, and they didn't even have to go there.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I still feel like if they're at their best, I think Barcelona's better. But
it might be, but as we know in the Champions League, it's one when you get to that final.
Yeah.
We talk about Liverpool. We'll talk about them a little bit in a minute. I always felt Liverpool was built for this tournament, but Liverpool's built for that 2-leg.
Yeah.
When you get that one match, is the crapshoot of the day.
Yeah.
And as great as Messi is, and as great as Messi can do things, as much as I hate to say it, because we do not like this dude, Ronaldo just seems to have that little extra spark of magic that I think he has even more than Messi, where he can just take one slight mistake,
Right.
and he can bury you from 30 yards, or he can, bury you 2 feet from in front of goal. And I think there's a little difference in them, but it is as a man that we idolize on this show. Omar Little said, "Coming to King, you best not miss." And Real Madrid, as much as we had to say, they are the kings.
Right now, yeah. It is true. They have been holding on for 2 straight years, and it's and by the way, they're still Bayern Munich.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That's I don't think Bayern. I don't think in a one game, or I don't think Bayern beats either Barcelona or Madrid.
Well, there will be a fourth team heading into the semifinals.
Damn right there will be.
And by the slimmest of slim margins, tiniest of windows, Liverpool 3, Manchester City 0. Mo Salah, because the $45 million right back that City bought in the beginning of the season can't clear the ball, scored in the 12th minute. Big, got Anfield on their feet. And then the Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain, put in a big power goal from about 25, 30 yards out.
About 30 yards out. That was a damn round that Chris Kyle,
Yeah.
the American sniper himself, would have been proud of. I'm like, damn, that's a hell of a shot.
Oh my! And then finally, Mane with the goal just 10 minutes later sent City reeling. And then for the second half, Liverpool sort of, I don't know, this is a weird expression to use when you're winning 3-0, kind of had to hang on for dear life a little bit.
I made the joke with one of the guys in the pub. I said, also, this is what it's like to be Manchester United.
Yeah.
I said, we only had to do it for 30 minutes. They don't do it all year.
Yeah.
Liverpool kind of did their version of parking the bus.
Yeah.
Even though we still had, forwards beyond the midway line. Not only that, but with Salah going out in the 52nd, 53rd minute, that had to bring on a change. When they brought in Wijnaldum at that point, you kind of knew, all right, look, this is about battening down the hatches. Because once you had the 3 on the board, the biggest thing for Liverpool came...
Don't give it away.
Do not give up the away goal. Because, you give up that away goal, you lose... Yes, you still got the lead, but you lose that little advantage you have. Liverpool had every advantage in the world going into City. I was riding up earlier, and I was listening to my stuff on my podcast, and when the Blood Red crew started talking about, what's your pick? I said to myself, I said 2-0 is fantastic. 3-0 is the dream.
Yeah.
And then we popped off 3-0 and held them late. And I cannot talk enough about Liverpool's defensive performance. Karius, Loris Karius. Everybody keeps talking about, you're going to go sign Allison. You're going to sign. Man, I don't know. Shit, this damn German something
really making you buy in.
Figured it out, man. But he's coming when he's supposed to. He's staying back when he's supposed to. The last 20 minutes, when we brought in Solanke, I thought the guy next to me, I said, it looks like 20 minutes of old blood and guts English football. That's like what we did, man. We threw our bodies in front of balls. It was just get the damn thing as far as you can from the box. Recycle it out. They're coming. We know they're coming. Just get the hell away from them, whatever you do. And Liverpool showed they were able to do that. And we talked about earlier when they played Crystal Palace, it's another way to win a match. And like I said, once you got those 3 goals, yes, everyone would have loved to have seen 5. Free-flowing, glorious counter-attack football. But at that point, you needed that shutout. Yeah. Beyond anything on earth, get the shutout, keep the clean sheet, and then go to Manchester, where we're going to feel really confident. I feel really confident we can score an away goal. Yeah. If we score an away goal, you got to put 5 past us now to beat us. I don't think we're going to give up 5 again. Yeah. At Manchester. Shit. Okay, maybe we need to score a couple goals here. But no, and Virgil van Dijk today, when we talked about earlier, Liverpool, Tottenham, hey, if there's a guy out there that they think is going to make them better, they'll go spend the money. I don't care what Premier League record it was. I don't care how damn expensive people want to say he was and everything. Virgil van Dijk has been worth every red cent because that Liverpool defense, while still not impervious by any means, it has turned from, oh God, I can't look, to, okay, at least I can peek now. The Liverpool defense is not the best in the world. It's quality defense.
It's good enough.
It's quality. And throw in the fact we played a 19-year-old at right back. We do have injuries right now, and whatever happens with the Merseyside Derby this weekend is going to matter. But I feel really good about going into that second leg. Or, by the way, I still don't think City have sold it out. That shows you about those great fans. Great fans. One thing you can't buy tradition.
It's true. You can't. Now, I do want to say for City, some of the issues when way back, when we were first doing our preview for this whole season, You know, we looked at some of their signings and we said, okay, they're good. Still not convinced about the back. And look, for most of the year, they're good enough now, especially in the midfield, especially with how good Kevin De Bruyne has been, as good as Sane has been, as good as Aguero and Jesus have been. They've been good enough where against most Premier League teams, that doesn't matter. And I believe I probably have to go back to the table to look at this. I believe they've actually given up the fewest goals in the Premier League.
I believe they have.
Now, I feel like a lot of that is because they control the midfield so well and keep going forward so well that makes up for a lot of their deficiencies they still do have in the back. And it is an improved defense, but as we've seen Liverpool, and because there's only really 3 teams in the league that can probably play with City. And it just so happens that in these 2 weeks, they're going to see those 3 teams 4 times.
See all of them.
It's going to be Liverpool because of how they can match them offensively, and when their midfield is good, they can match them. Tottenham is the same way. When their midfield is strong, they can boss that midfield, and they have enough firepower going forward where they can play with them.
Right.
And then United, where if they get a strong goal, if Pogba actually has a good game, you know, maybe they can do it. Good. So that's where City has gotten a little unlucky in this tie is, yes, they're still good, but they're going up against a team that counters them so well that it's very tough. And now when you're at this point in the season, when all you really have left to play for is the Champions League, and that because the league's won.
Yeah.
League Cup is won.
You're out of the FA Cup.
Correct. So now you got to go win the Champions League, which is what Guardiola was brought in to do, basically. I think that a lot of it is now weighing on City, and now I think we have to really think, well, what's their mindset? What is going to be their mindset going forward? Because I don't believe anybody on this roster besides Pep as a coach has won the Champions League. I think that's true.
I think you're right on that.
And so now this is all he was brought in to win, because you've won the league twice in the last 4 years, and it's going to be 3 out of 5. You've won the league. You've won other trophies. Go win the Champions League, and now you have to go home against the only Premier League team that has beaten you. Now has beaten you twice out of 3 times,
and kind of pulled your pants down and kicked your ass twice.
Yeah. I have to wonder, because we don't have much data this year of what does City do when they're really up against it. And I don't know how they're going to respond. Do I think they could still win this tie? Yes.
Sure.
Do I think they are? I really don't think so, though. I think the biggest thing is because of that 0 in the away goal column.
That was so huge.
That's huge. I don't even know if they're going to win this match, though.
And 2, when you take into account that here's the deal with City Liverpool. It's a rivalry. It is nowhere near the rivalry of Liverpool United.
Sure.
Liverpool United, you know what you'd be getting from this. It would be, every ounce of your life would be into this game as a manager, as a player, as a supporter. This would be bigger. I mean, God, if they've been in the final 8, it would be bigger than anything ever. They played in the Europa League a few years ago, and it was
insane.
It was epic for them. Liverpool do not have the same rivalry with City. Liverpool somewhat see City as, well, okay. I mean, they're good. They're from Manchester. We don't like Manchester. Okay. But,
City's only been really good for like 10 years.
Exactly. And you bought...
Yeah.
I hate saying it, you bought it all.
Yeah.
You have some history, but it's not much to it. And let's put it this way. The way it was put today was, hey, we're hoping to kill you today, and then we hope you go beat United this weekend. Go win that title, guys. Go get that ass. Go kick United's ass. Hey, we're pulling for you come Saturday. We would never pull for United against anyone. I mean, there's no one we pull for United over. So there's not that back where every City fan is going to be up in those players for the next week going, look, whatever you do, you've got to come back and win this. We can't lose to Liverpool. Right. There's not that. So therefore, I'm not saying these City players aren't going to come out and play their asses off, because they will. They're pros. And this is, more than anything, this is professional pride for those guys, because every great pro wants to win the Champions League.
And this is it.
They
really don't really
And
have
this is
anything
your
to play
chance.
for after this.
No, I mean, this is kind of your season. But, I mean, the fact that it has been so public that they've had issues selling out this match at home, that doesn't really go well with the narrative that already kind of exists around the empty head. I'm sorry, the Eddie head. And then they just walked into this cauldron that they just played in Anfield where, you know, the cop will make you piss yourself. And on European nights, they're special at Liverpool for a reason. And it's because you can't hear what's going on around you. All you hear is this wall of noise. And, you know, when they're chucking shit at your bus when you're coming in. Oof. I mean, you know, but that kind of tells you, hey, we're showing up for a fight. You know, Liverpool, yes, it's the fans. But I think that translates to players. Hey, we're here for a fight. You know, we got your back, man. You know, you're our guys. We love you. I don't think you're going to see a greeting for the Liverpool bus like that. If it was United, absolutely. Oh, it'd be blood and guts if it was United. But City, and also with Pep, who I know I've given Pep a lot of shit in the past. Don't get me wrong, Pep's a fantastic manager, one of the absolute best in the world.
Absolutely.
I do just think he gets a little overrated, but also Pep's a little more laid back. In the fact where, you know, Klopp's ready to rip somebody's head off. Mourinho is ready to rip somebody's head off. I just think to come back from this, I think you almost need Mourinho, not Guardiola. And like you said, I have a vision in my head where City could come back and win this thing, and I'll be devastated. But I just, as long as Liverpool can put a healthy squad out there, as long as you've got the kind of that little spine of Van Dijk, Salah, Firmino, I just, we might lose. I don't think we're losing the tie. I think they're going through the semifinal.
I really do too. I think,
and part of it is because I think we can go and score a goal.
Yeah.
And I don't think,
because you can lose 3-1 at this point.
Yeah, we lose 3-1 and cool. We're cool. I mean, we could lose 4-1 at this point, and we're going to throw away goals.
Yep.
And I just earlier this, and yes, people will be, well, you got your ass kicked 5-1 earlier this season. That was a weird one. Mane got sent off in partway through the first half. And then we just went to shit. I think even if somebody gets sent off, I don't think we go to shit like that again. Yeah. And part of it, Van Dijk. I think he's so important. Big. And Karius at this point. Yeah. Because it's not Mignolet. I mean, as bad as that sounds, no offense, Mignolet. Yeah. But I think Karius and Van Dijk at the back have just given Liverpool so much more. You know, they've just given them so much more confidence that we're not going to fall apart.
I think if there's anything you're looking for as a City fan for a ray of optimism, besides the fact that your team is really good, I think you maybe look at that Liverpool match you did play at Anfield, where you were down 4-1, and it was 1-1, and then the haymakers came and it was 4-1 within 10 minutes, and it ended up 4-3, and they had chances at the end to tie. Yeah, they can respond. It is in them.
Absolutely. City are going to need to come out. City are literally going to need to be 2-0 up in the first 15 minutes of this match. I think for them to really have a shot, they're going to have to get on them early. Because what you'll notice when goals are scored against Liverpool, they can come in bunches. Yes. Kind of like we were just saying. You know, the match at Anfield earlier, the match at the Etihad earlier in the season, when Tottenham got on Liverpool. When Liverpool get in trouble, they will give up the Arsenal match. Yes. They'll give up 2 or 3 goals in about a 15-minute cycle. If City can do that, then they give themselves a chance. Liverpool come out in the 9th minute, and Salah puts one away. Happy trails, boys. Happy trails. So.
This is big. This is a huge result, and either way, an English team is going to be in the semifinal. And I'll tell you what, I don't think I would favor them against any of the 3 likely candidates they have. I wouldn't be shocked if they made it to the final.
Here's my thing on it. Because all week, like I said, all week I've heard, well, City are the better team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? In knockout round football, the best team does not always
It's true.
win.
I know. Saw it around the 15.
You know, I mean, you can once again we could just take Liverpool in the last 15 years. In 2005, we weren't the best team, and not only did we beat AC Milan and come from 3-0 down to beat AC Milan in the final.
Where was that?
That was in one night in Istanbul.
Okay.
Don't you worry.
I had forgotten.
Don't you ever forget. In the semifinal, kind of like what we're seeing here, we faced the league champion, the unbeatable Chelsea. 1-0 over 2 legs was all it took. And it was one of those matches where everybody knew Chelsea's better than Liverpool. God, Liverpool finished like 5th that year. We weren't good. But when you've got belief, when you've got momentum, and just the fact that weird things can happen, and I don't mean to overblow it, but it's just what we do as Liverpool fans. European nights at Anfield are special. It is an atmosphere that, you know, you can be Neymar, you can be Ronaldo, you can be Messi, and there's just something about walking. There are just certain places in the world that are just cauldrons and just have the ghosts. Anfield's one of those places.
Yeah.
You know, I don't ever want us to build a new stadium. I want Anfield to be around forever. I'm like Spurs. I don't want a new stadium. I just want Anfield. The ghosts are buried at Anfield. Is magnificent. But I will tell you this: we are, if results hold, bro. You were looking at a straight list of European blue bloods, and you've got Barca, Bayern, and Liverpool. I believe are all sitting on 5 Champions League wins. I know Liverpool and Bayern are at 5. I think Barca is at 5.
Well, we have the technology.
Oh, we do have the technology. And, of course, then you've got Madrid, who I believe are at 11 and, you know, rule the world, as we know.
Medicina, +1.
Yeah, they're just, they're that. But, you know, just, it's cool. You know, we talk about this with basketball, which we did not get at all this year in the Final Four. But, you know, it's kind of cool when you get that, where it's all the, there it is, 5, 5, and 5.
Yep.
And then, 12 for Madrid. So.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, outside of AC Milan, you'll have 4 of the 5 most decorated European clubs of all time. And that's cool. You know, that's just, it's kind of crazy. It's kind of cool. You know, you look at Munich. God, Munich have lost the thing 5 times. You know, Liverpool been runner-up twice. Barcelona 3 times. I mean, so it is European royalty, and that's kind of cool to see. I am dreaming, and not because I'm trying to avoid anyone. Sure. I'm dreaming of a 2-leg with Bayern Munich, where Klopp goes home.
That would be nuts.
Because Klopp owes Munich one. Don't get it wrong. He owes them for that Champions League.
I will say, to go back to City for a second here, if you're a City fan right now, and this is how your Champions League ends, let's say they win 3-1, and so they end up losing the tie 4-3.
Right.
How do you feel about your season at that point? Good? Great?
You're good because, you know what, we won the league.
Yeah.
And the way they're winning the league, there's a good chance they're going to set a point total record. And look, you know, day one, winning the league is your goal.
Sure.
And in the Premier League, this isn't like France. You know, it's not like it's not like
Germany.
Unai Emery and in Germany where, you know, well, winning the league's your baseline. Of course, you're going to win that. Sure. And if you don't, you'll just immediately be fired. You know, coming in winning the Premier League is a big accomplishment because it's not easy to win the Premier League.
Not at all.
You know, Alex Ferguson might have made it seem easy, but even those years, it wasn't easy.
And especially not the way they're doing it.
No. I mean, because they're going to win it this year, and they're going to have a very tough time defending it next year. Because everybody's just going to get better. Of
course. Is
the whole point. But if they go out here, they are going to be disappointed in their very disappointed in their Champions League run, because Guardiola was brought in
to win the Champions
to take the next step and win the Champions League. Because for City, they feel, and probably rightly so, that that's how they become a true world powerhouse. You got to get the biggest trophy. Winning the league's awesome. It's just like PSG. PSG and City are so kind of intertwined. But that's where you really get to sit at the big boys table, is winning Europe. That will be a disappointment. And then not only that, but to lose it to a team from your league that's going to finish either third or fourth, and not lose it to Real Madrid, not lose to Barcelona, not lose to Bayern, not lose to one of those teams where you could sell it to your fans. Hey, we had a great. We just ran into Real Madrid. To lose it to Liverpool, who you live 25 minutes from, and you have to deal with them all the time. Once again, even though it's not the same as the rivalry, you still look at it like, what the fuck? I mean, we just kicked ass in the same league they're in, but we can't beat them for this.
Yeah.
That is going to be where more of the disappointment runs. Not the fact that you didn't win it, but who you lost to.
I also think it'll be interesting just because, and you did mention they're probably going to set a Premier League record for points. But the more I think about it, like, how much are we going to really remember this City team if this is where they go out? Because, I was just thinking the other day, earlier today, like, Chelsea set a record for points last year.
Yeah.
Are we going to remember that Chelsea team, really?
Yeah.
Because, I feel like you have to do something really special at some point. We're going to remember Arsenal because they were the Invincibles.
They were the Invincibles?
City's not going to be invincible.
No.
And even if they set a Premier League record for points, and that's amazing, especially after a team just did it last year, and they're already going to break it, I just wonder, like, when we look back in 20 years of Premier League, if they don't win the Champions League, are we going to remember, like, hey, they did a domestic double. Good on them.
I think the big thing you remember out of this City team is just how devastatingly attacking they were. I think personally, they'll be held in a higher esteem than a lot of the other clubs that win championships. I mean, obviously, someone like Leicester. I mean, that's one we'll always remember, Leicester. But I think just on a global scale. I mean, real quick, who won the 2009 Premier League?
United?
Probably.
Yeah.
But everyone remembers Liverpool winning the Champions League in 2005. Everyone remembers John Terry slipping in the Champions League against United. You're right. I mean, you do. I mean, those.
Well, and just sorry, real quick,
just hold a bigger place.
You're gonna remember City's first title win when they had to win on the very last day in the last minute.
Yeah, because that was so crazy. Well, now with City's gotten to the point where City have expectations.
Yeah.
It's not the dream anymore. Yeah, it's kind of like Leicester. Once the dream has been achieved, now we just expect it of you. Yeah. See, Liverpool went for a long time doing that where, hey, it's just expected we're going to win the league title. Well, now suddenly the league title dried up 25 plus years ago. Now it's the dream again. Yes. If Klopp, let's say, hey, dream scenario, Liverpool win the Champions League this year, come back win the Premier League next year.
God.
Yeah, I mean, Klopp's kicking the Pope out, which he could do anyway. It would be fantastic. But after that, let's say they pull that off. Let's just hypothetically Liverpool pull that off. Well, then the next year, we finished third and we go out in the semifinals. Okay, good year.
Yeah,
good year.
It's fine.
Okay. The year after that, we finish second and we win the FA Cup and we go out in the quarterfinals. FA Cup. Okay, yeah, we haven't won that in a while. Come on, man, we need to win the league. What's going on here? It's become the expectation at that point. Once you achieve the great dream, it's no longer a dream, it's reality, and then the only way to get that feeling back is to win again. Yeah. It's kind of like heroin. World football, heroin.
It's basically the same thing.
And I mean, you think about us as Boston Red Sox fans.
Yeah.
I mean, 2004.
Amazing.
My heart. I mean, be still my heart. Since then, we've won the World Series. It's never been like that.
No.
We've won the American League East. That was awesome. But damn, we've won the East and then lost in the
last year.
ALCS. And fuck this shit. What the hell's going on? Fire the damn manager. Once you hit that dream, everything after that, it's a sad way to think, but after you get the big one, everything's kind of downhill from there. But you got to keep winning after that. So, I mean, for City, it will be a great season. It will be a memorable season, especially for City fans.
Yes.
And because of the style that Guardiola did it in, they're going to win the league. They're going to stay record. They're probably going to play the most attractive football anyone's ever seen in said league while doing it, scoring and defending. Fantastic players, De Bruyne. If not for Salah potentially setting the scoring record, De Bruyne's your runaway player of the year. So, I think City fans will look back on it fondly, but there is going to be that little niggle of, but why didn't we win the really big one?
Yes. So there's your City eulogy before they've actually lost in the quarterfinals.
Next week I'll be crying.
Yeah.
I'll be crying.
I'm sure this won't come back to bite anyone. Well, speaking of kicking the Pope out, let's hit news and notes. Dancing his way out of town, West Brom and Alan Pardew are parting ways after 8 straight defeats. Way to really stay and go down with the ship, Pardew.
I really just real quick. Can I congratulate Pardew?
Sure, go ahead.
In his reign, as many wins as stolen taxis. Good job, Pardew.
Woof.
You're a champ.
West Brom's record under Alan Pardew, according to Sky Sports Stats, 18 matches, 1 win, 5 draws, 12 losses. Scored 13 goals, gave up 30. Had 8 points out of 54. Good job. Good job. Went very, very strong there. So, of course, they did beat Liverpool in the FA Cup somehow. Yeah, that's about all we have.
We just need to get something off the schedule. All right, we know that.
There you go.
That's what I'm saying. It's our bogey team. But now that Pardew's gone,
so if West Brom somehow stayed up and West Brom bought Christian Benteke, how bad would the result be?
So many 2-1s, it wouldn't be funny. Probably.
So
many 2-1s or 1-0s or 1-1s.
As we move back to Manchester, we've been talking about them a lot. Let's go to the other side of Manchester for a minute.
Because we cannot do this without talking about Chelsea being Chelsea.
Mourinho has a request for his critics, says the headline. He says, quote, I'm not thinking about it yet in terms of the derby, but as I was telling you, instead of being critic with us with our second half, give Swansea credit. He changed 2 players. And basically he goes on and on and on about how he wants to be acknowledged as the absolute best second-place team in the Premier League. It's not Tottenham. It's not Liverpool. It's United. And man, that's what he's fighting for. They are the best second-place team in the Premier League.
May I give my pundits here for Jose Mourinho? Josie, when at the end of the year, your city rivals are holding the Premier League trophy, and your blood rivals are potentially holding the Champions League, and Arsene Wenger is holding the Europa League. How did you think of that one?
Oh my God!
Think if that happens.
Oh,
is there any more of a nightmare scenario for Manchester?
So now, do we want Arsene to win Europa?
No.
Okay, that's fair.
No one really wants that.
That's fair.
But if that happened, could there be a bigger nightmare scenario for Jose Mourinho? But hey, Josie, you finished second.
Good job.
Good job. Butt pats.
Good job by you.
Oranges after the match for the kids, and have a yoo-hoo on me. This is just... I don't know. I don't really know what he wants. That's the thing. I don't know what he wants.
He wants to be loved.
What does he want? What is... I mean, just what's your gimmick? We're about to talk wrestling in a few minutes. What's your gimmick, Josie?
He demands love.
Josie is such a damn... he's such a heel. Yeah. He could draw big money back in Memphis, I'm sure.
We'll get to that. Hey, this happened in Albania, coming out of Tirana.
Skinderboo!
The capital. Skinderboo get a 10-year ban for match fixing. Wow. That's FIFA fair play. That's nothing. But if you do match fixing, oh boy, you will get fucked up. They are taken to the Court of Arbitration to appeal. I believe I read in here somewhere there was another one that happened to another club. Skinderboo had already been banned for a couple others. That's
I love that name.
Skinderbo, 10-year ban. The lesson is always, kids, don't fix matches, right, Joey Barton? And then he never fixed a match. What are you talking about?
Now,
To end on something positive in news and notes.
News and notes. And news and notes is over. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Zlatan Corner.
Oh God, it is Zlatan Corner. As long as he keeps scoring goals, we might as well just make a permanent spot for Zlatan Corner.
It's about to happen, folks. We told you we gave a little more crap about MLS this year. And now our love affair truly begins.
Told you guys to watch it this Saturday. The biggest derby in preparation for the actual two big derbies this weekend.
Los Angeles derby.
LAFC versus the LA Galaxy. LAFC out to a 3-goal lead. The Galaxy come back to pull it within 3-2, but it wasn't enough. They need to bring on God himself, Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who comes on and with his first important touch as a Galaxy player, puts one in from like 35 yards out.
Just loops it. Just I mean, perfect.
Just
if you as the casual person could not walk onto a pitch and do it with no one around you.
No.
Certainly not with 40,000 people in the stands and a defender within 2 feet of you.
Yeah, amazing. So that ties it. And then just a few minutes later, right before the end of the match, wins it with a header.
Of course it does.
Like, I believe that someone once said, you could not write a script like this. This is about how Zlatan would write the script. And write the script he did as the LA Galaxy do get the 4-3 win over LAFC. They're hated rivals that have been around for 3 months. But that doesn't matter. We make fun of MLS. But Zlatan is here.
Well,
and Zlatan is beautiful.
MLS now gets to play in Zlatan.
Yeah.
And that's good for them. And now really, when we want to sit here, let's be serious.
Yeah.
When big players in the past have come, now I'm talking big players. I'm not talking, no offense, LAFC. I'm not talking Carlos Vela. I'm not talking the Dos Santos brothers. We're talking real, true world superstars who have come to MLS. We're talking
Becks.
We're talking Beckham. I mean, we are talking Beckham. We're talking Steven Gerrard. We're talking Schweinsteiger going to Chicago. Kaká. Those guys are world-renowned, internationally. They're superstars.
Yes.
Kaká's a weird one.
Yeah.
Because, Kaká was so good for Milan, then he went to Madrid and just never quite got it back. But was still beloved in Brazil, obviously. Schweinsteiger was seen as being past it. He's come back. He's actually kind of rebounded in MLS, but still. Beckham was a massive media ploy. We know that. We knew that. Now, he did fine.
Yeah.
But we'll get to it in a moment. Kind of the same thing with Steven Gerrard. Steven Gerrard, the legs were gone. He was not the Stevie of great Liverpool yore. Also, the thing with all four of those guys, they're midfielders. The casual fan tunes in to see David Beckham, and what do you see him do? You see him take some free kicks and pass the ball.
Great.
Gerrard, MLS Gerrard, you're seeing him take a couple dribbles and pass the ball. Zlatan Ibrahimovic has a chance to be the biggest star in MLS history because Zlatan does what every casual fan tunes in wanting to see. He scores.
Scores worldies.
He scores goals, and he scores magnificent goals. That's why everyone loves Ronaldo and Messi and Mo Salah and Suarez and Harry Kane. That's why everybody tunes in and wants to see those guys.
Yep.
Because they score amazing goals. And Neymar and Cavani, that's what they do. Those other guys were really good midfielders who on their day could score a goal. This is Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Yes.
This is a guy who, he may be 36 years old. If not for a knee injury at United, he wouldn't be in MLS right now. This guy would still be playing major European football. Some could argue that Mourinho kind of fucked up by not letting him play enough major European football this year. Iunited fans can have a look and be like, well, shit. We should play this dude more.
That could have been useful against Sevilla.
Yeah, that could have been useful, Ibrahimovic, if he stays healthy, which I believe he will, really, when you look back at his career, that ACL tear was more a blip than anything. This is a guy who stays healthy. He plays. When he plays, he scores. And when he scores, he's going to do the shit like rip his shirt off, walk around like he's receiving the praise on Easter morning of Jesus Christ. And then he's going to tell you after the game how great he is. That's the other thing, Sometimes you need that brash, arrogant guy. You need that heel.
He's a great quote. I mean, we have it. Because Wes is here. I have all our stories on my giant TV, and the picture is, I heard the fans chanting, "We want Zlatan," and I give them Zlatan. That's great.
I mean, he's
a great quote.
His press conferences all week leading up to this were must-see TV. This is the guy who, yes, he's an older player from Europe. You can call it a retirement home if you want. Not Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Zlatan could start for most teams in Europe.
He could walk into Europe right now and play and start for 90% of the continent. This guy has a chance to really be, I think, a transcendent MLS superstar.
For a couple years.
For a few years, exactly. Yeah. Kind of as long as he wants to do it.
Yeah.
That's the other thing with Zlatan. It's kind of, well, how long do I want to do this? Shit! I could see him stay 2 years and go back to Italy. Go back to Milan or something, You never know with Zlatan. And go and play great. But he has a chance because he scores the goals. He has that outgoing personality. He has that you either love him or hate him kind of deal. There are going to be a lot of fans who are like, oh, fuck this guy. Yeah. But I'm going to watch because I want to see him get his ass shut down because he talks so much shit. Or you're going to look at him like us and drop to your knees and cover your eyes because we're not worthy. I think this is such a huge boost for MLS. And the fact that he had this debut, which immediately justifies what he is and what he's capable of, I think that's just so important for him because it's not like, well, just wait. No, it is.
Here you go.
It is, okay, hey, here's a guy who's been on the field for 2 minutes and he's already scored the best goal you've ever seen.
Yeah.
So
it's not bad.
I mean, it was an absolute fairy tale debut. MLS has just got to be panting at the money that they're going to make on this. For Galaxy, it turns around a franchise that has some superstar players. But just we're kind of in a malaise. They are the glamour club of MLS, which helps. And that between them and LAFC, I think it's big that both of them get off the ground and make a lot of noise.
Yeah, and that was a fun game.
Yeah, I mean, and 4-3.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we always kind of joke and say in the Premier League, okay, hey, all you people who say you don't really care about soccer, Liverpool City this week, Liverpool Tottenham, Tottenham City. Yeah. This is the week to watch.
Yes.
Arsenal Liverpool, this is your week. You want to see goals?
Yeah.
Go watch. This is the time to watch it.
Still watching it.
And when you I'm sure they had a very big crowd watching that first ever LA Derby Saturday afternoon before the basketball was on. I think he had a really good crowd. I was watching it.
Yeah, it's perfect.
Yeah, it was
perfect start.
Fantastic.
All right. Well, speaking of watching, Wes, as we're getting towards the end of the program, let's hit the watch for real quick. What are you watching in the week that was the week that
you're going to be so happy with me this week.
So
you know
happy.
what I started watching?
What'd you start watching?
I watched the first 11 episodes of The Punisher.
Oh.
Finally got around to
Nice.
it.
Good job. One of us did.
I'm
sad I haven't.
I'm, of course, out on my injury leave right now. I'm on the DL at work. So I still have another...
Almost back to first team
week and a half.
participation and
Still have a good week and a half left, just the way my schedule falls. So I've got a lot of good stuff on the DVR. I've been diving into the Netflix. And I'm almost through the first season of The Punisher. And it is fantastic.
Interesting.
So that was my big watch of the week.
Nice.
Apparently there's season 2 coming out of that sometime soon. So I am excited. On the Walking Dead front, we're down to 2 episodes left of the season. For all you still watching, good job. I'm fine with it. It doesn't get my mojo going like it used to, but I'm fine with it. And could have an explosive end to the year.
Boom.
Sure, they won't leave us with a cliffhanger or anything.
Haha. Boom.
So that's it for me.
As for me, by the way, as of the time we were recording this, we are T-minus 3 weeks away from New Archer. So that's great. That'll be amazing. Do also want to mention a new show, or not a new show, but a show coming back just last night from when we're recording this. FX's Legion. So that is back for season 2. Aubrey Plaza returns to our television screen, so I'm very excited.
I saw her on the commercial for that. Love her.
She's great. She's great in that show. Well, a lot different. Well, I say she's a lot different from her character on Parks and Rec, but she's kind of not.
Oh God, all we need is Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now that I've watched all the Parks and Rec,
It's funny you say that.
oh Lord.
I mean, well, because Legion is an X-Men show.
Very true.
Just saying.
Andy. Now that I've watched all the Parks and Rec, I can now kind of watch them solo when they just happen to be on TV and just laugh my ass off. So, and by the way, you, Ben, separated at birth.
Yeah.
Are such nerds.
I'm so glad I didn't have governorship of a town when I was like 8.
You could do it now, Ed.
Yeah, I could.
Not this town. Come to my town.
Yeah. Ooh.
All 600 of us. There's no money for a winter parks for a winter sports park.
How can I fuck this up?
There's no money for that, Ed. Trust me.
Awesome.
And it's hot and dusty.
Amazing. Well, amigos, I'm counting on you
Jesus God.
to give us a great report for So Raw. That's been Wyatt joke.
This guy! I'll tell you, if you worked at that accounting firm, you'd slay him.
But I gotta quit.
You gotta quit. Yeah, you gotta quit again. How many times you get hired? 3?
Yeah.
You just, I gotta quit. Okay. So Raw, as you may have heard me say a little earlier. Oh my God, WWE, why do you do this to me?
He loves to torture you, Wes.
WrestleMania is this Sunday.
Yeah!
It is in my favorite city in the world, New Orleans,
Woo!
Louisiana.
Cajun wrestling.
Yeah. No.
Whatever
Okay.
that is.
Well, Ed, I could tell you all about the Mid-South days sometime. We get Jim Ross on the old podcast. He'd tell you about working with the Cowboy and Junkyard Dog selling out the Superdome. But we're not going to go there. I mean, here it is. This is my favorite city ever.
Yeah.
One of the best WrestleManias I ever saw was WrestleMania 30, which is from New Orleans. Daniel Bryan came back and won the title. It was great.
Hey, you might come back and win the title this time.
Well, not going to win the title. He will be back, though. But this has... Oh, my God. Part of it's been injuries. Part of it's been changes in storyline due to injuries and things that have just happened. This has been one of the most boring WrestleMania build-ups I can remember. Roman Brock, I truly think they've done all they can to build that. Roman Reigns has taken unholy ass beatings. They've done everything they can to kind of make Brock Lesnar the bad guy, the guy who only shows up for a paycheck. And Reigns kind of the face of, hey, you know, I mean, here's how they're selling Roman Reigns. You should like him. At least he shows up every week.
Yeah.
This is your guy because he's here all the time. Don't like this guy because he only shows up once every 6 weeks.
Yay.
Now, theirs has been a solid build because, once again, Reigns has just been on the receiving end of ungodly beatdowns. A few weeks ago was stretchered out. Typical WWE fashion. But he took a beating from hell from Lesnar. So I'm kind of into that. Okay, I'm kind of looking forward to that match now. That should be, if nothing else, that match is going to be fucking brutal. Somebody might legitimately get hurt in that. It's going to be good. That's your WWE, that's your Universal title match. The one I've been looking forward to since it happened at the Royal Rumble is the WWE title match. That's going to be Nakamura and AJ Styles.
That'll be fun.
We've been looking forward to that. That's going to be an amazing match. I have not really cared for the build, though. And that kind of coincides with the fact that SmackDown has just kind of been shit for the last 6 months. Which, as you know, for a while there, SmackDown
really good.
was the better show. And then I think Vince McMahon looked at it and said, well, we need to get Raw the better show again. So he did it, kind of at the detriment of SmackDown. SmackDown to me has been kind of 2 matches. One of them, that title match, Nakamura and Styles, which is going to be really good. Really good. That's going to be your match of the night. That's really good. That's just such top talent. They're going to be great.
They did fight in Japan, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Wrestle Kingdom 10. Yes, what a night. That was the last Last time, well, that was right when they were both leaving Japan. They were leaving and going to WWE. And they fought in the Tokyo Dome with Nakamura beating Styles to retain the IWGP Intercontinental title, which he then turned around and lost the next night to Kenny Omega. Starting that whole... And that was the night also that Styles was kicked out of Bullet Club, so that was kind of the last run for those two. So that match, you're not going to have any complaint. That's going to be fantastic. If you just want to see a magnificent wrestling match, that's the one. After that, we kind of get into our secondary titles and our kind of feature matches. The big feature match, because for some reason we've decided the Authority always needs to fight. You know, the people in charge need to fight WrestleMania every year, and we have that on both shows. On Raw, you've got the big one, which is Triple H, Stephanie McMahon versus Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle. I hope Ronda Rousey's good. I'm not digging Ronda Rousey as a wrestler at this point. Part of that is because you know Ronda Rousey is such a fucking badass that she should just decimate everyone. And that Stephanie McMahon, as good as an athlete as she is and a performer she is, she should not be touching Ronda Rousey hardly. And she's kind of kept getting the upper hand on Ronda Rousey, including this past week a suplex through a table. I'm not really into this one because I'm just not really into the whole Ronda Rousey thing yet. They haven't really sold me on that. I want to see Ronda Rousey fight Asuka or fight Charlotte, you know, who are the big dogs, which we'll get to that in just a moment. Yes.
Point to the sign.
Got to point to the sign.
Got to point to the sign.
That's don't even get me started on pointing to the sign. I'm so sick of that bullshit. It's not funny. That has become, I mean, there is no cliche in wrestling bigger than...
Big memes.
Then they stop. They slowly turn their head. And they look at the sign. And they look back at each other. Someone points at the sign. And as the crowd goes crazy because... I'll point at the sign as well. And without saying anything, we'll agree to meet at WrestleMania. Yeah. Oh, Jesus. So that's your Raw Authority versus somebody match. And, of course, that Authority is Stephanie McMahon is the... she's kind of like the owner of Raw. Not owner, I can't remember. Like the
General
operating
manager?
officer. No, because Kurt Angle's the general manager.
Right.
So they're on opposite sides. And, of course, Triple H is Triple H. And expect Rousey to go over because you're not going to bury Ronda Rousey this early. She should win with an armbar on Stephanie McMahon. On the other side, this one's actually everybody's looking forward to it because you're going to get the return of Daniel Bryan. It's Shane McMahon teaming up with Daniel Bryan to take on Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens have been suspended from SmackDown for the last few weeks because of their antics. And if they do not win this match, they will be fired.
Oh.
Which, I mean, we've kind of done this a few times already with them. But they will be officially fired from SmackDown, will not be back. Personally, to me, I think you're going to see Owens and Zayn win because I think you're going to see dissension between Bryan and McMahon. I've said all along, I think that match is coming up. Probably be SummerSlam, is my guess. But it'll be awesome just to see Daniel Bryan back.
Yeah. Because
it's been too long. I'm so happy he's released and ready to go. And just, hoping he gets through everything, stays intact. Yeah. Please just stay intact.
Yes.
Just run down real quick some of the other big matches. I guess this is the SmackDown Women's title. That's the big women's title match. Asuka and her undefeated record taking on Charlotte Flair, who is kind of regarded as the best women's wrestler in the world right now. That's going to be huge. It's Asuka's first chance to win gold at the WWE level. And it's finally, if you're going to break that streak, WrestleMania would be a place to do it. But also here you could see it kind of go either way.
Yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to that. That's going to be a good match. On the Raw women's side, you have my beloved Alexa Bliss. I don't have to look around this week.
Yay!
See that stupid thing's going to go off. Not stupid. Hey, Amazon, we love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're definitely not listening to this
You're
conversation.
our favorite. No, you're not. Maybe for once. Alexa Bliss taking on Nia Jax in what seems like it should be the coronation for Nia Jax. We'll see, though. Alexa Bliss has kind of gone against grain before. I love her.
I know.
I inappropriately love Alexa Bliss, so I'm obviously pulling for Miss Bliss to get the win in that match. But once again, it's one I'm looking forward to seeing. I think it should be a good match. I think they'll tell a good story. You're not going to see quite the wrestling that you'll see in the other women's match, though. Neither of them at that level, but it should be a very good match. Intercontinental title is going to be fun. Triple threat: Seth Rollins, The Miz, and Finn Balor. Of course, you know, to me, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, two of the absolute best wrestlers in the world, and The Miz is probably just the best heel in wrestling. I mean, oh my God. And now, congratulations to The Miz and his wife Maurice on the birth of their child, which Miz took literally one segment to make the most obnoxious shit of all time, just him having a child. But that shows how good he is. You know, when he's telling us how much better his child is than every other child. Of course. You know, and suddenly he's become that obnoxious guy at the office like, oh, great. Yeah, your kid hit a single in Little League last night. Congratulations. Miz has already become that guy, so it just kind of adds on to him. That'll be a fun match, triple threat. For the U.S. title, there's a triple threat that it's Bobby Roode, Jinder Mahal, and Randy Orton.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jinder Mahal, he's bad.
Well, like I said, he's just SmackDown is just really kind of drug on me. Interesting match for the Raw tag team titles. The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro, they've been great, man. They've hit a stride. They've been great. I think we talked about it a few weeks ago. I can't remember. Maybe it was. I think I was here for that one. They had a tag team battle royal. And the winners were going to face him. And then Braun Strowman came down and won it by himself because he's Braun, and he's the greatest human being on earth.
Braun.
So since then, he has been ordered that he has to find a tag team partner for this match. But to this point, will not announce who his tag team partner is. So, well, once again, it's Braun Strowman. He doesn't really need a tag team partner. They're just making him get one.
My partner is Braun Strowman.
Well, what was fun was this past week he said... He said, "Fine, I'll tell you what." He said, "Cesaro, if you'll wrestle my partner tonight, I'll bring him out here. We'll show you." So of course he's Braun. So he said, "I'm going backstage to get him." And you got to see Braun do this. It's so great. Next thing I know, he comes out and he's wearing a white T-shirt and a pair of dark horn rimmed glasses. And he says, "I'm Braun's brother. I'm Brain Strowman."
Definitely not Braun Strowman.
Definitely not Braun. Brain Strowman, not Braun. So he comes down and annihilates Sheamus. And then pulls him, it was me all along.
Wow. Who could have seen that coming?
But the thing is, it's like, this is shit that usually you would roll your eyes at, but he's so funny and so good at doing it. I mean, you cannot help but love Braun Strowman. You can't help it. He's this gigantic, steak-eating musclehead. But he's got such a good sense of humor about it while being this like world-defeating badass. He's so much fun, dude. But he said, I guess you'll have to find out on Sunday. So we'll find out on Sunday who his tag team partner is. That'll be fun. I think it's a triple threat in the SmackDown side. It's the Usos, the New Day, and the Bludgeon Brothers, I believe. Which would be good. That'd be a good match. Just once again, SmackDown. And then, of course, we've got the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which will have 30 guys, Raw, SmackDown, probably some from NXT in there. We'll see who wins that. And they're having the first women's WrestleMania Battle Royal. So I'm sure they're going to have to pull up from NXT for that to try to get 30 out there. But that'll be fun. So, I mean, it's WrestleMania. It's awesome. Yeah. It's just the build has been kind of bleh. And here's the thing. With the pre-show, they've added an hour to WrestleMania and the pre-show. 7 hours.
What? It's not the 39 hours of Marvel movies you have to watch in Orlando.
No.
But it's close.
You remember the old the skit where Will Ferrell was born? He was a baby coming out. It was hot in there. It's just kind of what I feel like watching 7 hours of WrestleMania. Let's put it this way. WrestleMania will be on for 7 hours at my house. I might be like this on my phone quite a bit. Probably watching Netflix on my phone. But I will be there. Of course, I am on the disabled list, so I don't have to go to work the next day. I don't have to work that night. I would normally have to work on WrestleMania night, but hey, things work out. So WrestleMania.
Everything's coming up west.
It's coming up west. Don't forget NXT. Crap, I forgot what they call their shows all of a sudden. But they've got the Takeover. Yes. They've got the Saturday night show, which will, I'm sure, be very good. Very good. Aleister Black and Almas in the Cien Almas in the championship match, and Friday night the Hall of Fame, which I'm probably not going to watch the Hall of Fame this year. Your headliner is Goldberg, which is cool. I'm just not that into Goldberg. Never was. Mark Henry's going in this year. Haven't really paid that big attention. No one really jumped off the book at me this year. Yeah, I'm still waiting for the likes of Demolition to get in there, which, fingers crossed, one day we'll get Demolition. And there's some other big ones in the years to come. Yeah, that's not happening. That will not happen. But in the years to come, you're obviously going to have guys like The Rock, Chris Jericho, John Cena. That
was a name I noticed you didn't mention.
Oh, crap. Yeah, John Cena.
Yeah.
Jesus, I know what I'm talking about. That's been one of the disappointing build-ups. For a month, he's been calling out The Undertaker. There's been no answer. I mean, nothing. And the thing is, it's like you know what's going to happen. You know, because John's, well, I've just got to go to WrestleMania as a spectator. I'm sure you will, John. Row 4, you know.
An aisle seat.
Yeah, aisle seat, row 4, section 116. You know, when me and my kid walk up, oh, well, okay, we got this. Oh, my God, we're sitting next to John Cena. What do you know? And he'll sit there for all 7 hours and watch WrestleMania, I'm sure. You're going to get Undertaker John Cena.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Get excited.
I mean, I would, but you gave me no reason to be excited. It's like they're depending on a surprise that we know is going to happen. It's not a surprise because you can't just leave it out there like this. If they do, you're just going to piss everybody off. What the fuck was all this for? Why do we listen to John Cena drone for 15 minutes every Monday if we're not going to get anything? And also the rumor is it's going to be American Badass Undertaker. No one really liked American Badass. That was when he was a biker for a few years and came out to Kid Rock and Limp Bizkit music.
Oh, boy.
So hopefully...
Dark time.
Fingers crossed. Yeah. Maybe we'll get a live performance. Kid Rock is going into the Hall of Fame, so he'll be there. Maybe we'll get a live Kid Rock performance for The Undertaker to come out. Hey, Ed. I'm down with that.
There you go. Are you done with that?
Yeah, that's about it.
Wow.
Oh, and on the independent scene, Bullet Club's about to explode. We'll get to that sometime soon. We'll go through the whole Kenny Omega, Cody Rhodes thing sometime. Because that's a lot more exciting than what WWE's been doing.
That's unfortunate. Yay, so Raw! So that is going to do it here for episode 204 of the Foreign Affair Podcast. Once again, we are brought to you by... Oh, I moused the wrong thing. Brought to you by NGSC Sports.
Select your phone.
NGSCSports.com. Unfortunately, we're not sponsored by Brightstar. But we are sponsored by NGSC Sports. We never stop. They're on Twitter. We are on Twitter as at AFA Pod. Wes, you are.
I'm at Wes Bradshaw 21.
I'm at Edward Green. You can also find us on the YouTube, youtube.com/The All New Sports Show. These episodes do get uploaded there every week. You can also email us, allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Get in touch with us that way. One last shout out to our podcast providers, including Podbean.com, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, the TuneIn Radio app, Google Play Music, and the iTunes Music Store. We'll be back next week for episode 205. We'll have a WrestleMania rundown. We will have either a very sad or very happy Wes, depending on how that Liverpool match goes next Tuesday. Whew, at least we have a day off in between. We'll have that. We'll have the rest of the Champions League matches. We'll have a big Derby Day Premier League weekend recap to get to, and any more news and notes that pops up. Maybe Zlatan will get a hat trick this weekend. So that'll about do it. But Wes, you got anything else to add before we get out of here?
Oh man, what do we have tonight? Baseball's back.
Yeah, baseball's back.
Baseball is back.
Red Sox are determined to win every game by 1 run this year. That's good.
Red Sox are good.
Yeah.
We're on 5-1 now, I believe. 4-1, 5-1. Pitching has looked fantastic. Sitting on that in the first day.
Yeah,
when the bullpen sucked. But sales look good. Prices look good. Porcellos look good. So I'm feeling it, man. We're hitting the ball a little bit. We're playing good defense. Giancarlo Stanton went over 5 with 5 strikeouts in his first game at Yankee Stadium.
Yes. Yes. It's happening, boys.
The
It's happening.
The Man City of Major League Baseball.
Oh, my God.
Love it. Love it. Love it. But yeah, baseball's back, folks. Check out your baseball.
Yeah, check out your baseball. In fact, that's what I'm about to do right now. That's not baseball. That's anime. So, from Apple Calling Crime, Wes Bradshaw, joining us here live on the podcast this week. I am at Edward Green. Thank you so much for joining us here for episode 204. And as always, guys, stay safe and enjoy the football.
Good night, Manchester City. Get your good night's sleep, boys. You need it.
Oh, yeah. They got run a little ragged.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on NGSCSports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.